How much money do you think a mid-20s lifestyle actually costs? I'm 25, I live in Nashville, Tennessee, and I'm always sharing my budget breakdowns and how much money I spend in a month as a 20-something trying to balance living a big full life while also being financially responsible. But I am just one girl, and my spending might not be super representative of how other 20-somethings spend their money. So I wanted to make this video estimating how much money you would need to make in order to live the mid-20s lifestyle that we seemingly see all of our peers living. I think this conversation is super important because if you've never tracked your expenses before, you probably have no idea how much money you're spending monthly, and especially not annually. So in this video, we are going to break down a mock monthly budget, add it all up annually so that you can see how much money you would need to make in order to sustain this mid-20s lifestyle. I have a blank copy of my monthly budget planner here, and this tab of my budget template is so great to run through exercises like this. You can create a mock budget, see what would happen if you got a raise, estimate what would happen if you increased your savings rate. It's a great place to play around with the numbers, so that's exactly what we're going to be doing in today's video. When I run through exercises like this, I like to start with keeping the income section at 0. And what this does is it almost allows you to reverse engineer your budget. What I mean by that is it allows you to see, okay, if I'm living my life exactly how I want to be living my life, how much money do I need to make? Not I make this much money, how can I spend it? So we're gonna leave the income portion at 0, and then I went in and I ran some numbers. I put in different categories for needs, wants, debt, and then a little bit of savings and investments as well, because that's important. And we're gonna see exactly how much this lifestyle costs. We're gonna start on the need side, and I can talk through some of like my rationale for why I picked the numbers that I did. Obviously, rent is always the biggest line item in the needs section of our budgets. And in this example, I put $1,300 a month for rent, and this is assuming that this person lives with a roommate. My rent is a lot more expensive than $2,300 a month, but I don't have a car payment, I don't have student loans, so I can afford to live by myself without roommates. But most of the time, I feel like most of my friends don't live alone without roommates. A lot of my friends do have roommates. That's super normal in your mid-20s. So I assume that this person does have a roommate and is spending $1,300 a month on rent. For utilities, I said electric, gas, and Wi-Fi, their budget is $200 a month. Again, they're splitting this utility, so $200 for those 3 utilities I think is totally normal. Phone bill, I said $125, and for a phone bill, I wasn't exactly sure if I wanted to include this in here because I feel like the phone bill is the last thing that parents kick their kids off of. I pay for my own phone bill, but I also feel like a lot of my friends don't. They're still on their parents. I included it in here and I said $125. Health insurance was another one that I was kind of like, I don't know if I should include this in the monthly budget because a lot of people do have health insurance through their corporate job. But thinking back to when I worked my corporate job, my health insurance still had a premium every month and it was around $75 a month. So I included that in there. And then I said $150 a month for car insurance. This is how much I pay for car insurance. Don't really know exactly how much everyone pays or what the average is, but I know as soon as you hit that 25 mark, your car insurance tends to go down. Mine was definitely a lot more expensive when I was in my early 20s. I think $150 is a good estimate. I budgeted $150 a month for gas for this person. This could be super low or it could be normal depending on what your lifestyle is. If you work in person and you have a long commute, this is gonna be way too low. You're gonna need like $250 a month. But I know for me, I work from home, so I really never even hit up to like $100 a month for gas. And then obviously also what type of car you have, because I had an ex-boyfriend one time that would literally spend like $800 a month on gas because his car was terrible on gas. Groceries, I said $400 a month, and you'll have to let me know in the comments if this is like way too low or way too high. But the way that I figured was 4 weeks out of the month, $100 a week. If you're living by yourself or like not splitting your groceries with your roommates, I feel like $100 a month is a pretty good estimate. I know sometimes I go over this, but then there's some months that I come in a little bit under. So the 400 mark is probably a good average for me at least. Pet, I had to include this because I have a pet. I know a lot of people in their mid-20s don't have a pet, but even if you have a cat, like you're spending probably $100 a month on your cat. Between the vet, if you have pet insurance, which you should, medication, food, it all adds up. Miscellaneous expenses is one of the last ones, and if you don't currently have a miscellaneous expense line item in your budget, you definitely should. I always find something to put in this line item. Labeling it miscellaneous expenses is just a better kind of catch-all category. 1 month it might be personal care, 1 month it might be paper towels, 1 month it might be a doctor's copay, just anything that's not necessarily like fun money, just random little expenses that come up here and there. And then renter's insurance is the last one. I said $15 for that. The next section is debt payments, and the only thing that I put here is a student loan payment for $400 a month. This is also where you would list any car payments and then also any credit card debt. I went back and forth about putting a car payment in here as well because I know a lot of people do have car payments, but I also know a lot of people in their mid-20s are still driving the car that they had from high school. They might not have a payment on it, so obviously include it if you do have a car payment. This is also not assuming that people have credit card debt, and I know a lot of people are in credit card debt and trying to get out of their credit card debt in their mid-20s, but for this example, we are only putting a student loan, so definitely keep that in mind when we're showing all of the numbers at the end. The next category is wants, and obviously the needs were for bills and everything that you need on a monthly basis, and then wants, this is where we're getting into all of our discretionary spending. First line item, I labeled this fun, and in parentheses I said food and entertainment, so really anything that you're doing to have fun throughout the month. Some people might think that this is kind of high, but I said $600 a month, which breaks down to $150 a week. And this is definitely the one where I'm like, if you've never tracked your expenses before, definitely go take a look and see how much money you've been spending in these categories. Because $150 a week is really like one dinner out with your friends, one night out at a bar, you took an Uber, you're going to see a show. Really anything that you're doing for entertainment all gets lumped into this category. So I don't feel like $150 a week is too outrageous. Shopping is actually a little bit low compared to what I budget for. I said $250 a month, where I typically budget around $400 a month for shopping. This is anything from clothes, shoes, an Amazon order. I said $250 a month to give yourself a little bit of wiggle room, but we're not going crazy in the shopping category. Obviously, if you spend less money dining out and like going out to the bar with your friends and more money shopping, you can kind of like adjust those numbers for what makes sense for you. Fitness, I said $100 a month. This could be between your ClassPass subscription. It could be a super affordable gym membership, but then you take a couple fitness classes every month. Beauty and self-care, I wasn't exactly sure how to label this one or what amount to assign it to, but I said $200 a month, which I do feel like a lot of beauty things aren't really like an every single month type of thing. But when you estimate that out annually, that's $2,400 a year. So maybe one month you're only spending $50 because you only got your nails done, but then the next month you like got Botox for $300, I don't know. Subscriptions, I said $75. This is everything between Netflix, I have like a car wash subscription, my Oura Ring subscription, my Hatch Alarm subscription. I feel like everything is a monthly recurring charge these days. I said $75 for that. And then I also keep a miscellaneous wants category in my budget as well for about $100 to $200 a month. And this again always gets full, whether I'm spending money on supplements. I placed an Amazon order for a random like house related thing. I into home goods. This could honestly be a lot higher than $100 a month, but I was a little bit conservative in this category and only said 100. Then last, I did assign some numbers into the savings and the investments portion. Obviously these are a little bit outside of like the what I spend in a year type of thing. However, the budget wouldn't be complete unless we're putting a little bit of money away. I said this person is putting away $200 a month into their emergency fund. And then second on the savings goals, I said they're putting away $150 a month for a vacation. And I know for a fact that most people don't do this. However, I would love it if most people did do this, because $150 a month equals $1,800 a year saved for a vacation, which if you're taking one big vacation a year or like two smaller trips throughout the year, like two little weekend trips, we're definitely spending at least $1,800. And I know most people don't save for that. So I personally have a little sinking fund in my high yield savings account labeled travel. I'm putting a little bit of money aside every single month to save for a vacation so that when I do travel, I can pay for a hotel if I need to book a flight or just some random little things when I'm on vacation, I have the money to spend. And then I also said that this person is investing $100 a month into their Roth IRA account. If you want to see my most recent video on step-by-step how to invest your first $100, you can check that out. But it's obviously super important to start investing when you're young, so I had to include that in the monthly budget. Are you ready to see the total amount of expenses out of the budget that we just listed? And again, since we don't have any income in here, this is going to show up as a negative, because if we did have $5,000 worth of income listed in there, then it would show you the net amount, like the income that you listed minus all of the expenses and everything that you listed would give you your net amount. But since we left the income amount zero, this will show us exactly how much money we would be spending every single month if we stuck to this budget. And the number is $4,790, which obviously this is a good time to look at that budget that I just created, say, is this close to what I'm spending every month? But then look at your income and say, okay, what does my income look like? Am I making $4,790 every single month after taxes? For context, to add this up annually, $4,790 per month equals $57,480 per year, which again, it's after tax money. So you can look at everything and say, do I make $57,000 per year after taxes? Or is this budget not conducive to how I'm spending? And in that case, you're fine. If you're not tracking your spending, you might not realize how all of your bills and things add up into that much of an amount. And then you might not realize that that amount is more than the amount that you're making on a post-tax basis every single month. I also thought this video would be a good opportunity opportunity to kind of show you how I structure my budget. So what are the categories? How do I go about assigning values to those categories? Where do I put my debt payments and all of that? If you are interested in creating your own budget with this template, I will link the budget template in the description of this video. It's $8.99. It has a budget setup tab where you can create your budget month by month. And then it has monthly tabs so that you can track all of your expenses every single month and compare those transactions to your monthly budget. Let me know in the comments how this mock budget compares to your budget and how you spend your money, and let me know if these numbers surprised you for how much it costs to live a mid-20s lifestyle.